It was an unremarkable morning in a wealthy enclave just north of Phoenix.
Breaking news right now. Federal agents have arrested the billionaire founder and former CEO of a pharmaceutical company right here in Phoenix.
Until federal agents launched a raid on the home of billionaire John Kapoor.
74-year-old Kapoor is the most significant pharmaceutical executive to be criminally charged thus far in the nationwide opioid crisis.
What do you think your client is not guilty?
Why? Because there's no evidence against him. He didn't do anything wrong.
I've never seen anything like this. These doctors were writing massive volumes of prescriptions for one of the most dangerous drugs on the market.
Was he bribing doctors?
No, he wasn't.
Was he misleading insurance companies?
No, he was not doing that either.
John Kapoor's arrest was a watershed in the opioid crisis and a warning to corporate America.
We're going to take a look at shares of Insys Therapeutics are falling more than 18% today on news that executives from the pharmaceutical company have been arrested on racketeering charges.
Wall Street loves a success story. Everybody does. Wall Street just loves it more. And John Kapoor had a great story to sell.
What do you think about the opioid crisis going on?
Terrible thing, but he's got nothing to do with it.
With colleagues at the Financial Times, we've been investigating opioid manufacturer Insys Therapeutics and its founder.
There simply weren't enough people who were joining up the dots to ask the question of, is this legal? What's really driving these profits? And is it good for society more widely?
This is a story that starts with pain, the kind that's so severe people become desperate for relief. John Kapoor understood that pain and thought he could help.
I met John Kapoor here in Phoenix. He had come to Arizona from Chicago and developed Insys Corporation to try and produce some medication that would help with cancer pain and its symptoms.
Dr. Lisa Jo Stearns is one of 8 people connected with Insys who agreed to speak to us about their experiences with Kapoor and his drug.
Kapoor's wife had died with breast cancer. She had developed quite a deal of pain. He had tears well up in his eyes when speaking about his wife, and that his main mission now was to try and help decrease the amount of suffering for patients. I believe that he was somebody that could help us change the way that we have cancer pain treatment in America.
He was, at the time, one of the drug industry's most successful entrepreneurs.
I know there are all kinds of definitions for entrepreneurs. The one that I think we all recognize most is that entrepreneurs are risk takers. Entrepreneurs are also dreamers. You know, my dream started in India, and my dream was to come to this country. I was fortunate that I was able to get a fellowship at State University of New York at Buffalo, where I did my PhD in medicinal chemistry.
Kapoor had taken his chemistry degree and gone into business. Between 1981 and 2002, he started and invested in more than a dozen pharmaceuticals. Over those 2 decades, he developed a reputation. He was ruthless in pursuit of profits. Roddy Boyd is a former hedge fund analyst turned investigative reporter who's covered Kapoor's career.
He sold his first company to the Japanese for about $800 million, but his factories were known for their rampant violations. He cut corners left, right, and center to the point where they took it over and found that the actual formulation of these drugs were so problematic that they had to halt production.
It wasn't an isolated incident. Violations and lawsuits littered his path. But that didn't get in the way of him becoming a billionaire.
We were the first of the investors who built a category in pharma today called specialty pharma, where you pick up products and then you add some twist to it to make it better, different, and promote it through your sales force. By promoting, you can build those products.
One of Kapoor's innovative and lucrative twists, he'd taken an existing heart drug, turned it into a spray, and marked up the price. With Insys, he'd try the same thing, using fentanyl, a synthetic opioid up to 100 times more powerful than morphine. It's often used by doctors to treat end-stage cancer pain, like the kind his wife had experienced.
Fentanyl, it's very addictive, and it's very dangerous if used in the wrong way. But if used in the right way, it's a godsend to many patients.
Kapoor called his new fentanyl spray Subsys. Dr. Stearns, investigator of a Subsys clinical trial.
There were other fentanyl products that people were utilizing for breakthrough pain, but they took anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes to work. But then Subsys comes along and the patients would, within 5 minutes, get a clinical response and feel better. I thought that that was amazing.
John Kapoor launched Subsys in the spring of 2012, after the FDA approved it for treating breakthrough pain in cancer patients.
Subsys comes in individual blister packages. Do not open the blister package until you're ready to use it.
But Subsys sales were lackluster for the first 6 months.
We prescribed maybe a couple prescriptions a week because there weren't a lot of people that needed to be managed that acutely.
Behind closed doors, Kapoor said Subsys was the worst launch in pharmaceutical history. He was furious.
For John Kapoor, this is simply put not acceptable level of business. And the first national director of sales was fired in a few months. They brought in Alec Burlikoff, and lo and behold, things changed.
Alec Burlikoff had spent close to 6 years in pharmaceutical sales. He would become central to the rise of Insys and its ultimate fall.
You want me to do anything or just...
No, you just look around.
This is his first on-camera interview, conducted under the supervision of federal authorities.
When was the first time that you met John Kapoor?
Approximately April of 2012. They're on a fast track to going under. My basic understanding is lack of sales results. I mean, I come to every interview with more passion and enthusiasm than I like to think anybody else can bring to the table. And I can tell you that when I interviewed for the sales manager position, that interview ended with Dr. Kapoor pounding the desk saying, "This is our next VP of sales." I left thinking, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. I've been waiting for it my whole life. I've always wanted to work with a billionaire.
Alec Burlikoff, I thought, was a genius and definitely knew how to, I don't know how, build a sales team that quick, that fast, and make the company go where it did.
You could see the guy can sell only because of the way he connects with people. And you throw in a lot of enthusiasm where you see someone genuine to help you become successful financially, you can't help but to gravitate toward them.
His mantra was, by any means necessary, get the job done. It's from sun up to sundown and by any means necessary.
These 3 former sales insiders who were let go by the company were the few who would go on camera to tell us about an unbridled sales culture at Insys.